and we are going to continue the event with BUIDL Vietnam with the same topic about zero knowledge. So talking about zero knowledge and real world application, we cannot miss the progress that Starknet, one of the largest blockchain projects employing zero knowledge. So the next topic is to answer the question, is Starknet the next big thing? Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Chia Chuang Ang, developer, evangelist from Netherlands. Hello, welcome to Vietnam.
Thank you for having me, and very nice to see you on a Saturday morning. And yeah, thank you for the talk.
Okay, so the stage's yours.
Let's start. Yeah, thank you. Waiting for my slides. So today we are going to ask the question: is Starknet the next big thing? My name is Chi Chuan, and I work for Netherlands. I'm a dev and a dev evangelist, and I also am a Starknet ambassador, and that's why I'm here today, this morning, to share with you about Starknet. So let's figure out if Starknet is really the next big thing. So what's the status quo of the current Ethereum chain right now? When the activities are high, for example, when there's an NFT mint or something irregular happening on a chain, we expect to see heavy gas prices. So this is an image I took from Etherscan. It can go up all the way up to 8,000 GUI. That's insane, because normally what we are seeing is only on around 20 to 100 GUI, but this is like 80 times more expensive. So that means that people like you and me who are not well funded enough are not able to use that chain at a point of time because it's just too expensive for us to use. And what's the goal of Ethereum? The Ethereum is to allow everyone to be able to transact on chain. So this beats the purpose, right? Like now it kind of priced me off from transacting in Ethereum. So that's one problem that we have right now. And as we can see, another photo I took from Etherscan, the block time for a block is 12 seconds, and basically means that the current state of Ethereum has low TPS, so it's around 10 to 15. And again, when we talk about wanting everyone to use it, we expect 1,000 TPS, even more if more people will use it for various activities. But 10 to 15 is not really something that we want. We are not quite there yet. We're not at the scale of massive adoption yet. So so how do we fix it? So the easiest way right now, that what people claim to have fixed the problem, is to CMP, Control C, Control V, copy and paste the Ethereum chain, just make some little tweaks on the block time and the block size. So by increasing the block size and decreasing the block time, essentially the chain is able to churn out more transactions, and that leads to an increased TPS. So whatever chain that says that, oh, we are faster in Ethereum, and they are layer 1 chain, this is what they're doing, right? And so it sounds too good to be true. Like, if this is the way to solve the problem, why aren't Ethereum doing that? Because of course there are some trade-offs. So let me just walk you through a bit of what the trade-offs are. Because of the increased block size and you need to transact more transactions in a shorter period of time, you need beefier machines. Think about 1 terabyte of RAMs, 2 terabyte of RAMs machine, and that those blocks need to be need to be propagated with other nodes or other block producers, and they all need to re-execute the transaction again. So what I'm trying to say now is that although we certainly can we can do this, but then not many people is able to run the node because it gets so expensive. So for example, on my normal MacBook, it's not able to then process the thousands of transactions that comes in per second. We need something that's much bigger, beefier machine. That leads to the network becoming more centralized, and we leads to the question, like, if blockchain is something that we want to be decentralized, now it's become more centralized. So at the end of the day, what's the point, right? Why do we need blockchain? Because at the end of the day, we are just moving towards a step of like having one big machine running everything, and yeah, that's no point. And because of the shorter block, the shorter block time, the blocks need to take time to propagate. We also see like an occurrence of high reorgs. So in some chains, the reorgs goes up to 100 or 300 blocks. So basically, once a transaction gets in, you need to take like another 5 minutes to confirm that it's finalized. So again, Why are we putting ourselves in that state? So the easiest solution for now may not seem like a solution that we want, right? So do we have an alternative? Yes, we do. The other way, it's what we call an L2 rollup. So this is a diagram of the layer 1 or the Ethereum chain. And the Ethereum chain right now, what it does is that it does a combination of the data availability, settlement, and the execution. So the layer 2 proposed to segregate out the execution onto its own chain. So this is what we call a rollup. And what it does is that it batches all transactions and just dump it onto the layer 1 as a data availability for data availability. So this is what Starknet is doing. So you may ask, like, okay, what's the catch? So the catch is that when you are dumping the data to the layer 1, you need to make sure that it's correct. It's somehow this execution is run correctly, right? So how does Starknet do it? So what Starknet is doing is that we have a Stark proof, and with a heavy machine that executes all transactions for you and dumping the data to layer 1, it's also being accompanied by a Stark proof. So proof is cryptographically proven to be correct in a very, very high possibility that the data the state chain execution is done correctly. So even though it's over here, it looks like centralized, but there's no way for you to kind of like make a false statement that this execution is running correctly. So TLDR, Starknet executes all transactions and generate a proof for you, and all these are being relayed over to the layer 1 chain, and the proof is very small in size in the sense that we can easily verify the proof in a small computer. So now we can start to see the light at the end of the tunnel. Execution, the heavy execution, is being extracted out from layer 1, and the small proof is now being passed along to all of the nodes on layer 1, and we are able to maintain the decentralization because everyone is then able to run like a node now. And the proof takes a very, very short amount of execution to verify, because this is the property of a Stark proof. It takes log n time to verify as compared to your n steps of execution. So it scales log time. So there you go. Starknet seems to be a solution, and therefore Starknet promises to be an L2 scaling solution with Stark proofs. And it has been live on Alpha Mainnet since November 2021. So for those who are asking, like, how can I use Starknet? Well, you can already use it in 2021. Start writing Cairo code and smart contract, and you can transact with Starknet chain, do some swaps, or do whatever application you want. It's more than just swaps now. So what else does Starknet offers aside from scaling Ethereum? So Starknet comes with its own native account extraction. So account extraction has been the talk of the town for the last 1 year, but prior to that, Starknet already has it natively in its chain. So we start seeing ideas like account extraction and social recovery and all sorts of like gas extraction popping out recently. If you are into hackathons, this has been the common talk point for the past couple of hackathons, and all these are natively available on Starknet. So all accounts are smart contracts by default. So meaning that you're able to then program your account to function in a certain way. So we know now that at the current state of Ethereum, our externally owned account, or EOA in short, it's just a private and public key pair. So if you want to perform anything, we need to sign using our private key, submit to a blockchain, and then it will then execute some function. But now all this has changed because we are able to then extend our EOA to perform more actions, such as maybe we can do like auto subscription payment with our account. These are like a lot of ideas that you can explore. I'm not going through all of that. And another thing that account extraction offers is signature extraction. So meaning to say that your account is no longer tied to a single private key. So in the current state of Ethereum, if you were to lose your private key, it's game over for you. Like, what if you have like $1 million in your private key, and you were to lose it, you're gone. There's no way for you to retrieve it. But with signature extraction, you can think of ideas like, I can change my key. I can reset my password, so to say, because the signature part has been extracted out from your account. And finally, gas abstraction. So it's not yet available on Starknet, I have to make that clear, but it's in the roadmap. So what gas abstraction offers is that the native account, you get able to pay gas via third party, and a native account doesn't need to own, the account doesn't need to own a native token before transacting. And so, so what this offers is that we then have an account, an account on the blockchain that we can change our password for. This is unheard of in the current Ethereum world, and we can then recover lost keys, social recoveries, so on and so forth. Like there are a lot of solutions right now out there, and you can do that all in Starknet. We can improve our UX because we don't have to force users to have some amount of token in our account to start transacting. So for example, think of a game, right? You want to onboard users and they need to create an account. Right now in Ethereum, the users need to fund their account with some ETH and then start playing, and then the ETH is, and then after you deplete your ETH and you need to replenish it again, so on and so forth. But with the power of gas abstraction, you can delegate like a paymaster, and the paymaster will be the responsible for paying all of the transaction fees for the account. So maybe via like a centralized way, maybe a credit card, you pay the paymaster via credit card, and then like in a prepaid manner, and then you can play your game not knowing that your game is being deployed on Starknet, for example. So there are many use cases and applications. It's really up to you to come up with the idea. One thing about Starknet that people probably dread about is that they have to now learn a new language. So unlike Solidity, which has been here for like a couple of years, Cairo is a relatively new language. So then I have met so many developers that ask themselves like, so now I have to learn a new language? And people dread not learning a new language. But to that, I say, well, I'm pretty sure Solidity is not going to be the final language that you're going to learn, right? Now Rust is coming out. Will you learn Rust if it's very important? You will. So Cairo is coming out. Will you learn Cairo when it's going to be super important? You will as well, right? So let's not bound ourselves to Solidity only. Let's not bound ourselves to EVM. Simply because, not because EVM is not good, because there are other languages that may provide something aside that more than Solidity. So this is what Cairo aims to do. Cairo is a language that allows you to write code, general computing, just like Rust or whatever language that you know and love for. And on top of that, you're then able to generate a proof for the execution. So meaning, imagine writing a Rust code to do whatever execution you want, maybe ZK, like a machine learning model thing. And with ZKML being like a hype, as Anthony and Elio said, you can do that. You can prove your execution is correct with Rust, but with Cairo you can, because natively it generates the proof for you, and then you just have to submit show someone the proof, and someone is able to verify it easily. So that's the power of Cairo. Not only you're able to write your code, Cairo allows you to also generate proofs that comes with execution. And one thing I really want to stress about Cairo is that you may think it's hard. Sure, it's hard because you're not used to the syntax. But I stress that it's only like a syntax change. It's only like a syntax change because the way that you think, the way that you approach a programming problem, it's very similar to how you would now as in TypeScript or Python. So if you want to write execution and want to generate proofs with other languages, like Circom or blah blah blah, I'm not going to mention names, you have to normally change the way you think. You have to write in circuits. You can only express your program, your execution in additions and multiplication. That's all you're limited to. That means if I want to express something, I have to like constrain it, write circuits. It's I believe that it's a much higher hurdle to learn. It's because you have to change the way you think. We have been programming for like the past 20, 30 years, and now you have to change all that to write circuits. But in Cairo, you don't have to do that. So you just approach the programming the same way as you would, and then voila, you're able to generate proofs from the language. So yeah. What's next? Oh wait, this is the previous one. How do I go back here? Oh. So this is a diagram that I took like a couple of days. I just checked this morning. The number is higher now. So what this represents is that we can see that the deployment of Cairo 1 code on mainnet it's like a hockey stick diagram. So you can see that it shoots up on the rightmost. And I got this from Voyager. Voyager is a Starknet explorer that I work for. It's also my team. So if you would like to explore Starknet, like get your transaction information, such as if your transaction is confirmed, accepted, or pending, Voyager Online, it's probably like the best place you can go. And I sourced like the link to this diagram that I pick up. So here you go. Send transactions, and then Voyager is able to then let you know the status of the transactions. Of course, you can do more than that, but I'm not going to talk about all the features we have in Voyager. So how do you learn about Cairo? A little small shield that we have an event at 1 p.m. Stark HCMC is by the Starknet Asia guys. It's going to be at Hello World Saigon. So if you would like to know more about Cairo, hands-on workshop on how to write your first Cairo code, or even to get to know the ecosystem more, even get to know like who are building on Cairo on Starknet. This is an event that you want to be at. It's going to be at 1 p.m. at Hello World Saigon. And Starknet community is on fire, see. Why do I say that? There's just so many projects building on Starknet. I'm going to highlight some really interesting ones that we have yet to see on other communities. One of them is the Starknet Strange initiative. It's an open source, community-driven project that they encourage everyone, and I do mean everyone, every one of you who can write code or if can provide good ideas, to join Starknet, Keep Starknet Strange Telegram group or the GitHub repo and start contributing, write some code, fix some bugs, add documentation. So these are the things that they encourage people to do. So there are more than 3. So let me highlight like, the 3 more prominent ones on my right. This is Madara. So for those anime fans out there, this is Madara, the logo for Madara. I'm not going to go off full otaku here. But Madara is a Starknet sequencer written in Rust. And the cool thing is, every one of you is able to then contribute to a good first issue, write some code, and then you'll be acknowledged. So that's pretty cool for that, right? You're acknowledged for your Rust contribution on Madara. And the end goal that Madara wants to achieve is that they want to allow anyone to able to spin up their own Starknet instance with the Madara sequencer. So running that, you then have your own Starknet instance, and people can deploy on your instance. So imagine that you owning the entire Starknet layer because you have run Madara sequencer. So in the middle, it's probably something some of you may probably heard of. It's Kakarot. Kakarot is a ZK EVM written in Cairo. So Kakarot again is another character in Dragon Ball. So that's hence keeps Starknet strange, right? So we have seen many initiatives to do ZK EVM, and the community wants to prove that you can write ZK EVM very easily with Cairo, and they did that in a couple, like 3 or 4 months. They got all the opcodes in, and they even raised, and Vitalik is one of the investors. So all these comes from a community effort. So I think that you can only see that in the Starknet ecosystem. And on my leftmost is Beerus. Beerus is a light client on Starknet. So I don't know that much about Beerus, but Beerus is also an open source community project that everyone is able to contribute to. So these are some of the many things that people are building on Starknet. ZKLand is here. They're also building. Feel free to ask them. And yeah, so my point is the community in Starknet is on fire. Devs are constantly building funny, cool stuff. And what we expect to see is that if more devs come and build, more product will appear, and then there will be more users. It's going to be like a positive feedback loop. And Nethermind, which is the company I work for, is also building on Starknet. We have 3 products, and we have even more sub-products. On topmost is Horus. Horus is a formal verification tool that on your Cairo program. So we know security is important, so we build like a tool to formally verify your Cairo code. And in the middle, Juno. Juno is a Starknet client node, similar to how Geth node or Nethermind nodes are to Ethereum. Juno is one of the, I think, 3 alternative clients in Starknet, in the Starknet ecosystem. So for those who do not want to rely on the indexes like the Graph, or doesn't want to rely on API by Voyager, you're able to run your own Juno node and read or query from the Starknet ecosystem via the RPCs. So yeah, this is something that Nethermind team helps to build. And finally, Voyager, I have a rough briefly talk about, is an explorer on the Starknet ecosystem. It allows you to understand how the Starknet is working, and allows you to take a look into your transactions, your blocks, your contracts, interactive contracts, so on and so forth. Just like how Etherscan would in Ethereum, Voyager, it's the Etherscan version of Starknet. Yeah. So what's next, you may ask? So now, people are talking about the possibility of layer 3s. So what are layer 3s, the idea of layer 3s? So you are able to then spin out your own custom Starknet instance and modify it in a way that it suits you. So it's layer 3, it's probably going to be a app-specific Starknet for you. So if you want to add privacy, okay, you just modify your layer 3 to suit to your privacy use case. If you want to be half centralized, half decentralized, sure, you can do that on your layer 3. But this is still a bit of way to go. But we do see a possibility of layer 3 happening in the next year or so. I can't promise. But in the shorter term, in the next update, Alpha 0.12.0, what we expect to see is we expect to see an increase throughput, increase in network performance, and transaction latency. So for those of you who have been using Starknet now, you may complain like, oh, Starknet is too slow, so you can't scale Ethereum with Starknet. Well, all this is about to change after the upgrade. So there will be a massive free write to the original sequencer that allows it to be able to accept and transact more transactions more efficiently. So I encourage you, every one of you, to try it yourself after the upgrade, and then let me know, or let the community know, if you experience any positive, if you have any positive experience. It will be much faster. Yeah, I promise you. So, so we want you. So we want everyone of you to be involved in the Starknet ecosystem. In whether or not you are testing on the network after the new update, or you are contributing to the community, or building some cool stuff, or even contributing discussions on the Starknet forum. So everyone is welcome to join the Starknet ecosystem. And for those who want to know more Starknet, we do have a booth over there. Feel free to just hop by and ask us more questions. And to that, I think this is the end of my presentation, and thank you so much.
Thank you so much. We really appreciate it. Thank you for sharing how and where we can interact more if we have questions about Starknet. So we hope that you have some time to drop by, visit the booth from Starknet right over there.